The growth of video game generation by generation is much around the graphic. How the video game has more good-looking graphics, more polygons, higher resolution, ray tracing, and more. Apart from graphic, story and gameplay is the same important as the graphic itself. The game with a good story can make the player attached to the game by the plot that delivers by the game. Interactive story games vary by gameplay. There are FPS, TPS exploration, point-and-click adventure, and text-based games. If you like to involve more in the direction of the game, all of the games from this list are definitely best for you. First is Fahrenheit, Indigo Prophecy.
I'm bleeding. I must have cut my wrist with the knife.
If you know Detroit Becomes Human or Beyond Two Souls, maybe you are familiar with Quantic Dream. This game is the first interactive story game with gameplay that uses a lot of QTE. In this game, players will follow the story of Lucas Kane, a man supernaturally possessed into committing murder, and New York City police detectives Carla Valenti and Tyler Miles, who pursue him. The gameplay itself involves the player in making decisions to alter the narrative. Number 2 is Oxenfree.
Didn't you hear me calling for you?
Jesus, you scared me.
Players take the role of the teenage girl Alex on a weekend trip to a local island. After seemingly supernatural events occur, Alex and her friends must unravel the secrets of the island. Gameplay is built around the walk and talk mechanic. Instead of dialogue occurring during cutscenes, speech bubbles appear over Alex's head, giving the player a choice between 2 or 3 dialogue options. At the same time, Alex remains free to move around and navigate the game world. Players can select dialogue options at any time during conversations, choosing to wait for other characters to finish, to interrupt, or to remain silent.
Warning, do not use aboard ship.
Number 3 is The Witcher 2.
Castle.
Our family would have perished if not for you. Please accept this.
Although it's not like the other interactive story games on this list and is more oriented towards action RPGs in general. However, in this game there is an interactive aspect in it, where you can choose what approach you use to complete the mission. Likewise, there are choices throughout the game that can affect the story and how the ending will be achieved. Number 4 is Her Story.
This is the 3rd day running you've called me.
Her Story is an interactive movie game, focusing on a series of 7 fictional police interviews from 1994. The video clips are police interviews with Hannah Smith, a British woman. The interviews are unable to be watched in their entirety, forcing the player to view short clips. In the interviews, Hannah answers unknown questions to an off-screen detective, prompting the player to decipher the context of the answers.
You have no murder weapon. You have nothing. And all these stories we've been telling each other.
Number 5 is Storyteller. Storyteller is an interactive video game that carries the puzzle genre. Storyteller lets you build stories using a visual language. The goal on each level is to make a story that fits the given title by placing settings and characters that react to each other, creating a narrative through their relationships. Number 6 is Life is Strange.
You want to fly my drone?
Is that really yours? Is that even legal?
Life is Strange is a graphic adventure played from a third-person view. The player takes control of Max Caulfield, whose time rewinding ability allows the player to redo almost any action that has been taken. The player can explore various locations in the fictional setting of Arcadia Bay and communicate with non-playable characters. Dialogue exchanges can be rewound while branching options are used for conversation. In some instances, choices in dialogue alter and affect the story through short or long-term consequences.
Hi, Brooke.
Let me guess. You want to fly my drone?
That looks like a high-fly drone. Model.
Number 7 is My Lovely Wife. Play as Jake, a loving husband and grieving widower who is granted the knowledge to summon dozens of succubi by a mysterious man. Work with those succubi, make them fall in love with you, and sacrifice them to create a vessel for your wife's soul. This game mixed dating, management, and alchemy simulator. The game has over 40 endings, including one for each of the succubi as well as 2 main endings for following through on Jake's dark desires. Number 8 is The Life and Suffering of Sir Brandt.
Written on these pages, but my fate has always been my own.
The Life and Suffering of Sir Brandt is a narrative-driven RPG that comes to life on the pages of the protagonist's journal. Set in a ruthless world where any form of dissent is mercilessly crushed, the story follows a man who has dared to challenge the existing order, set out on a lifelong journey, and become an individual able to carve out their own destiny. Divided into chapters, the game keeps track of the player's deeds, the skills they acquired, as well as other overlapping circumstances that shape a unique plotline for each playthrough. Number 9 is Citizen Sleeper. Citizen Sleeper is a tabletop-inspired narrative RPG set on Erland's Eye, a ruined space station that is home to thousands of people trying to survive on the edges of an interstellar capitalist society. Inspired by tabletop role-playing games, Citizen Sleeper uses dice, clocks, and drives to create a player-led experience where you choose your path in a rich and responsive world. Each cycle you use the dice you are dealt to choose what to do with your time. Make or break alliances, uncover truths, and escape your hunters. Number 10 is Heavy Rain.
The origami killer asked me to investigate the murders. I came here just to ask you some questions about Johnny.
Come from the same developer as the first game on this list, Quantic Dream. The game features 4 protagonists involved with the mystery of the origami killer, a serial killer who uses extended periods of rainfall to drown his victims. The player interacts with the game by performing actions highlighted on the screen related to motions on the controller, and in some cases, performing a series of quick-time events. The player's decisions and actions during the game affect the narrative. Each playable character may die depending on the player's actions, which create a branching storyline.
You again? If you're looking for trouble, you found it. I'm gonna beat the shit out of you. Oh!